is my first video for Relica Vintage. My name is Darlene Schaper, and I'm the owner of Relica Vintage, and I have an online site as well as a couple of different antique booths in the Portland, Oregon area, and you can check out those links if you'd like on my blog. So what I was going to start out talking about today is about collecting and how to collect and what to collect. I mean, these are all really big questions when you're first starting out collecting. Like, it just can be very overwhelming. I mean, especially when you go to a antique mall where there's hundreds of booths and hundreds of items and so many different things, you can get easily overwhelmed really quickly. So what I like to do when I'm on a hunt is think about maybe choosing things all in one color or all of one type. My first example that I'm going to show you today is this shelf that's behind me. I found this nice shelf and I like the shape of it a lot, and I could see that I'd be able to put a lot of fun objects on it. And what I wanted to do here was to create a lot of contrast and a lot of drama. So I painted it black, and then all the items that I found, I put them all in this white color range, white or off-white. That way they really stand out and they have a lot of contrast and a lot of drama. You can collect all different sizes of types of things, all different kinds of subject matter or age, just as long as they're white. And this works really well with glass too. Like if you're thinking about collecting milk glass is white. It looks really great with almost any color background in your house, whatever your color palette is. Another thing that I like to do is collect multiples of things. So when I find a lot, you can find a lot of these little bags of things or just things that I think are kind of interesting looking, and by putting them in a glass like this, you're really accentuating them and making them kind of an art piece all in themselves. And these are just some little vintage light covers. And another thing you can do is take these glass test tubes and put them in glass on glass, and then I've added this white piece of fur in there. So I think that also is giving you another white item, even though it's a very diverse type of display. But all of these items go really nicely together once you get them in a grouping, and I like to call them sort of an instant collection. So this little collection I have here, because I'm an artist and I collect art from other artists as well as have art that I have myself, I like to mix those items in with the antiques and collectibles. So in this grouping, what I've done is taken things that had mostly reds and oranges in them and grouped them together, as you can see in this little horse and the native person on the wall there. And I'm also taking some other details in. I've got, glass and ceramic pieces, some plastic, some metal, and then I've also thrown in a little bit of wood for texture. With this skeleton baby, I guess you could say, my friend Tabor Porter, who is an artist, made this piece, and it just came as the sculpture, and then I've paired that with the red crepe paper flower behind that and a little bit of wood with this dome. So in that sense, you've got a little bit more interest going on, and you've added some browns and wood for texture in there. And then just some interesting pieces. I mean, if you look over at this little gun in the glass, it's a very cheap toy, but it's the right color, and putting it in a nice piece of glass will make it sort of seem more like an object to be cherished. And then, just different things. I'm looking at the browns and the reds in this mink scarf that I've added to the mannequin, again, just to add a little bit more drama to that piece. So this is another fun little collection I have. These are all little chickens. I think it's fun to go ahead and try, when you're going on a hunt, to look for certain subject matter. Maybe you want to collect all dogs, or maybe you want to collect all whatever. I mean, something interesting, something fun to use. You know, I think a lot of times when you were maybe over at your grandmother's house and you saw a little collection that she had, and maybe you start there with something you inherited, and then you kind of build your collection around that. I think it's a really fun conversation to have when people come over. They love to look at all the little things that you have gathered together and talk about it, talk about, you know, what was in your family and what types of things you've been collecting. You know, it brings back great memories. You know, the time you were at the coast and you found this cute little salt and pepper shaker of these little chicks or whatnot. So I think collecting can kind of really inspire you and inspire conversations and inspire the history of your life and your family's life. And again, here's another collection of Madonnas, and I just have always really liked that symbol of the female and the goddess, and I think that it's a pretty universal sort of symbol. And you know, every single one of these is very different, and they're from different cultures and from different times and different materials, and just having all the Madonnas together like this, I think, is a pretty powerful looking statement in your house. It doesn't necessarily have to be a religious statement. I have these up over my desk, and I think it's really fun to sort of like look up at them, and it's like all of these Madonnas are sort of cheering me on every day and praying for me in a sense. So I just find them really inspirational. So I think the idea is just to kind of find the things that you like and the things that inspire you, and go for it. I don't think that there's any real rhyme or reason or any super rules that you have to follow. I think you should just have a lot of fun, and you know, don't worry if a piece is 100 years old. If it's a piece that you like, you should add it to your collection. You can definitely have a mix of things and really have a lot of fun with it. So that's my first rendition of collecting with Relica Vintage, and have a great time, and go to my Etsy shop.com, which is Relica Vintage, and check out the things I've got on there. Maybe there's something that'll inspire you.